All right, welcome to Santa's workshop. Just kidding. We are building a Santa sleigh, and as you see here, a queen bed headboard, a full-size sleigh bed, headboard and footboard, an antique buckboard, and some leaf springs. Good morning. Here we are again on day 2 of sleigh build. But here we have what used to be bed frame. I didn't put you guys through the videoing of dismantling the pieces we didn't need, such as all the wheels and junk accessories that we didn't need on the bed frame. I've welded 3 of the 4 corners. Ran out of welding wire, which is common around here. I always tell myself, I go to the store, like yesterday, I went to the store to buy a cutoff wheel for the chop saw. And I said, you know, maybe I should buy some welding wire. Nah, I got plenty. Well, here we are, just reloaded the wire in the welder. And we're gonna get to welding on this thing. Gonna get a few more welds. I got 3 of the corners, like I said. Gonna get a few more welds to stiffen it up. Then we'll move on from there. Hope you enjoy. I know some of you are probably asking, why a bed frame? Well, multiple reasons. One, what I had available. We here around this workshop like to reuse what we can. Environmentally better, it's just better all together. We don't get all that stuff thrown out for no reason. Yeah, this could be sent to a scrapyard and recycled into something, but why not recycle it into a sleigh? Second reason, angle iron they used to make bed frames, extremely hard, extremely rigid. It's thin, it's lightweight, but just as strong as something twice as thick and heavy. So this cuts down on weight, it gives it better rigidity and strength. So those are the 2 reasons that I'm using a bed frame. So anyway, back to welding. Pretty much has this piece complete. Now we just got to make all the rest of it fit with this. That's where we'll move on to next. Alright, now we're at a point we've got to figure out what kind of angle we want these pieces to be at. Can't have them straight up. It's just going to look like we took a bed, shortened it, and put skids on it for a sleigh. So we've got to have this at a pretty good angle here, and then cut it off. First, we should probably test it. Make sure the frame is right. Back, make sure the frame right size in front. It is. So this back piece is pretty much going to be left full length. I'll fill this in with some additional 1x material. The front, probably gonna cut off not far below where this little transition is. We obviously want the front to be lower than the back, to look more like an actual sled rather than, again, like I said, look like Santa's riding around on a day bed or something. So anyway, let me figure some angles out. I'll get right back with you. Alright, we've got an idea of what kind of angle we want to use. I'm going to go with a 20-degree angle. And if you'll notice, I've got a square area here, then it transitions to this curve. I use my bead square to get a 20-degree angle down here. How do I get it down on this curve? This may or may not be the way some of you would do it, but I took this framing square and I've clamped it right along the edge of this square area. Then I'm just going to take my speed square as soon as I figure out how I want to do this here. Get it at the right angle on the edge of that. I actually slide this down a little bit. There's a little bit more room here to work this angle. Again, I've made this up on the fly here, so trial and error. It's like Jimmy DeResta always says, you learn on the first one. I'm learning, folks. Okay. This side, then almost 30 years with buzzed hair from being in the military. I'm not used to this. I love it, but it's definitely a learning curve for me. So I know you've heard me refer to myself as Santa many times. As you all know, we play Santa and Mrs. Claus every year. Normally wear a wig. This year, very, very close friend of ours, Melody Gentry, will be whitening my hair where I can be Santa Claus with natural hair and beard. shorter, we will be in business. In a second here, I'm gonna get this old bolt, old broken bolt stuck in this. Recruit some help on this part where I can mock this up. Get some 2x cut in here. Get this back and front mounted temporarily. It'll be mocked up together where we can actually tell, is this too long? Do we need to shorten it? Can we leave it where it's at? I got plenty of leaf spring to make the skids with. So that won't be a problem, but get back with you in just a second. Okay, here we are, we're back. We kind of skipped ahead on you guys. We finished the metal frame, modified it, shortened it to where it needed to be. We've got the back and the front of the slide mounted to where they're gonna sit. Now we've got these sides. What we're gonna do now is mark those out to where they'll cut and mount to this contour where everything can be filled in. Excuse the dogs. The dogs like to come into the workshop and play.
They're reindeer.
Yeah, they're reindeer. Anyway, we're going to cut these contours. That way everything will mesh together. Once we wood fill and sand and paint on the sides, it'll look like one piece. So, and if you're wondering, this big space right here is, these aren't the exact pieces we're going to use, but it's going to be filled in with kind of a round off, and then come out here with some 1x. That way this whole thing will have a good transition into the front. Pop some pallets apart today. We'll finish out the floor. We'll get this cut and modified and mounted. Then it's on. I'm waiting for the forge here to dry so we can get the forge fired up, make the sleds for this. But anyway, here we go on tracing and cutting. Mirror image, unfortunately. So,
what is that you're cutting? Headboard.
Yeah, this is an old headboard off of either a full or a queen size bed. As I said, we like to reuse and recycle. All of this bed is pretty much going to be, other than a few odds and ends, recycled material. Deep pickup when you put a lift kit on it. Those would be the sleds. My messy scrap metal pile over there that you can see. That's where the rest of the metal for the sleds are going to come from. So let me get the jigsaw. Remember I told y'all we use recycled materials. Well, here is Mrs. Claus in a boot pulling pallets apart where we can make a floor for the sled. This is probably not OSHA approved work. I'm just gonna throw that out there. We don't do OSHA approved work here. Yeah, this is with a homemade pallet puller. So, anyway. Back again at Earthly Wear Creations, and we've got the boards planed and ready to be put in the floor. We just got to cut them to length. The length we've measured all the way down. Luckily everything turned out pretty square, and 35 1/4 inches all the way down. We're not going to bore you with cutting all of these. We'll just cut one, get it ready to put in. I won't bore you with the rest. I'm working on getting the forge fired up and ready to go, getting everything cured as far as the, I forget what it's called. They call it Satanite, but it's refractory inside, where we can bend the leaf springs for the sleigh skids. And Crystal's going to work on getting all the flooring in, and off we go.